Now, we're going to be getting into a little bit of a different concept today, but today I'm going to be teaching you how women actually fall in love and the elements of female desire, because what men are convinced of certain things in today's world, like it has to have chemistry, I have to be high value, I have to demonstrate value to her, I have to show her my worth, I have to learn a bunch of game, I have to learn a bunch of tactics. These are the things that's literally crushing your desire with her. Now, I'm going to also say this. Do not use this for evil. And I really mean that. The things I'm going to be teaching you on today's presentation is probably a bit higher level. It actually really is higher level thinking and higher level aspects of just being a human. And in the wrong hands, this could be used for negativity, which means I do not want you to use this to get, women who you have no interest in the future, attached to you or obsessed with you. I do not want you to use this to just sleep with as many women as possible. I also do not want you to use this to try to boost your own ego. But this is seriously some deep stuff. So stay with me for the whole presentation because it is actually going to be worth your time, and I'm not just saying that. After this video is over as well, I want you to go down below and I want you to check out the MBT webinar. MBT stands for Masculine Behavioral Techniques. This is my own proprietary system that I've used with thousands of men across the globe. Be sure to hop into that presentation after because it will change your life and it's going to actually help you get results in your dating life at a far quicker pace. So let's dive in. I am super excited for today's video as well. Now, today we're showing exactly how women deeply fall into love and get attached. And I'm going to tell you this video will piss some of you off because you're going to realize that probably the world has lied to you in quite a few ways. And you're going to be sitting there going, damn, I've been chasing all these things that are never going to actually lead me to the final destination that I think it will. And you have probably been chasing something that you'll never be able to catch because it doesn't exist. So here's what the world wants you to think. This is what the world wants men to think. The world wants men to think that you need all these boxes checked to qualify to a woman or to prove your worth or to prove yourself, okay? And you're gonna hear things like, well, you need skills and you need to be high value, okay? Then she's gonna have all this love and this chemistry and this attraction and just adore you, okay? Then you're gonna hear stuff like, one day when you wake up and you've made it and you're a millionaire and all of a sudden you have these six-pack abs, you're gonna have this unlimited confidence and you're gonna just feel amazing. And here's the truth, okay? The truth is that there is no endpoint to success or a final destination that will ever make you feel free, okay? Free to walk up and talk to that girl, free to live life how you want, free to dress how you want, free to talk how you want. Nothing's going to ever do that for you. Nothing. There's no materialistic thing that will ever give you that false internal confidence or conviction in yourself. Another thing that the world wants you to think is that women only look at materialistic stats. Oh, he has money, so now that means he's a man to her. It's not how this shit works, okay? Or that you're not good enough. This is all bullshit. The way that a woman falls in love has nothing to do with chemistry. It has nothing to do with compatibility. It has nothing to do with her liking you. Sometimes it doesn't even have anything to do with her respecting you. Women only fall in love when there is a discrepancy between you and her in sexual market value. Meaning whatever she views herself as, you can use a rating on 1 to 10, she views you above her. Now, what this is this is a frame of value. She has categorized you, okay? Let me give you an example of what this would look like. If you are at a bar, okay, this is just completely hypothetical. Stick with me because frames of value, women can't control their attraction. Just like you can't control what you're attracted to. If you see a beautiful woman, whether you're a good guy, whether you're a bad guy, whether you're a mean guy, whether you're a happy guy, doesn't matter how you were raised or what your personal beliefs are. When you are attracted to something and you find it arousing or you find a woman beautiful, you can't help it. It's the same with women. Women have things they find attractive in men. So women only fall in love when there is a discrepancy between you and her in sexual market value. She thinks yours is above hers. This is called a frame of value. Here's an example. You're at a bar, okay? You're a multimillionaire with a private jet. You're sitting around a table and there's 10 people total. There's 3 other men so that's 4 total, and there's 6 women. There's 10 people total, okay? the one guy sitting there who's the brokest, let's say, or he's the one who, let's say, just doesn't give a fuck or lives however he wants, and let's say someone says something and he says just a good witty one-liner, like it's a joke, all the women think it's hilarious, and he wasn't even trying to be funny. Like maybe he sits there stone cold when he delivers it, and it's just the way he delivered it was hilarious. In that exact moment, they are going to have more attraction and arousal towards that guy because he has inflated the emotional state and the value of the entire collective of people sitting there. So in that exact moment, he may have more market value sexually than you, even if you have all the boxes checked. So there's some hidden skills that men have not actually learned about attracting women, or even just how to be themselves for that matter. So that's it. A discrepancy in SMV, sexual market value. She looks at you and she's like, man, this guy's cooler than me. This guy is more popular than me. This guy is more outgoing than me. This guy takes risks and says things that I would never say. Or she might look at that guy and go, man, this guy is more interesting than me. Okay? This guy is more well-known than me. This is why women like popular guys. This is why women like guys with status. But the thing is men don't necessarily understand how women perceive status. Women perceive status based off how you're being judged from the collective whole of the people that you're around. And there's ways that you can demonstrate status. But what you have to understand is there will never be anything on paper. I'm going to get to that point in a second. Just stick with me. This will make sense. Okay. Not only that, the discrepancy in sexual market value also happens to come when she sees that you are desired by other women. This has nothing to do with chemistry, okay? In fact, when you check all these boxes, then she feels chemistry, okay? Majority of men think if they build rapport with her, if they have things in common, if they spend enough time with her, she's going to get attached. No, that is not how this works. When a woman stops looking up to you, okay, she starts to look down on you. When she looks down on you, she thinks she's better than you. When she thinks she's better than you, she exits. Because there's something about your personality that demonstrated some sort of weakness, some sort of insecurity, some sort of turnoff, or some sort of attachment that she viewed as unattractive, okay? So the only difference with what I'm saying versus majority of the content creators is majority of the content creators are going to tell you that a woman only looks up to you when you have all of these boxes checked on paper, okay? Like, oh, you're only making 80K a year, so like that's like that has nothing to do when you walk down the street or you talk to a woman at an event, a party. Women don't oftentimes know how much money you make. Women don't know where your status is. You start to demonstrate these things by conviction, confidence, personality. So what's the key to this? The key to this is you gotta you gotta really ask yourself why you live the way you do, okay? Because if you take a look, you have 24 hours in a day. If you chop up and divide how you're living those 24 hours, most people are living them, okay, just for the satisfaction or the validation that they may get from others. Here's what I mean by that. You're the guy where you say, you know, if I make all this money or I hustle for the next 5 years in my business, then I'll have the admiration of women. Or if you say these things like, you know, if I just get six-pack abs, then I'm going to be valued and respected by other people because I look super fit. And most of the time, people, like the women that you talk to, they just don't give a fuck. Because when you have to self-qualify, when you tell yourself you have to build yourself, when you tell yourself you have to do all of these things to gain other people's approval, that is when you ruin the whole thing. Okay? Am I against self-improvement? Absolutely not. Me, myself, of course, I try to improve every day, right? I try to improve the content on this channel. I try to improve my health. I try to improve, let's say, my circumstances. I try to learn new skills. But it's for me because as an individual, that's what makes up my life. It's not for the validation of other people. So how do you start to live like this? Where you talk how you want, you operate life on your own terms, you're willing just to be how you want to be. The key is to be present in the moment and 100% confident with yourself to actually let go and just not give a fuck. Okay? The ability to just not give a fuck. If you can adapt the I don't give a fuck mentality, but not just say it, like you actually mean it, like you genuinely don't give a fuck what other people think, how they view you should live your life. If you're at a 10 out of 10 in life satisfaction and you have another person who looks down on you for the choices that you're making, you got to understand that they just see the world through a different lens. Women are only looking at the man from a sense of, is he 100% confident within his own identity, within his personality? And this is what makes up an alpha male, okay? The internal. I've been trying so hard for the past 3 months on this channel talking about internal high value. And it is the hardest thing to discuss because it goes against what all the other content creators say that makes a man high value, because I'm talking about the internal traits. When women are present in the moment with a guy, they are looking at who he is from the inside out, the guts of the man, what makes him him. The key is to be 100% self-confident, okay? 100% and genuinely not give a fuck. And I'm gonna explain why this is so important right now. Most guys, if you're watching this channel and maybe some days you wake up and you're insecure, you don't feel good, or like you are not very confident, or you're shy, all of those things, if you're like, man, I wish I could change myself. Most guys, you could put $5 million in their bank account right now. You could give guys 6-pack abs, wide shoulders, chest full of muscle, okay? You could give these guys fame. If you snap your fingers and you said, here's 2 million Instagram followers, you're a celebrity, everyone loves you. You could also give that guy all of a sudden 6'5" height, however you say that. You make him 6'5", and you could give him, let's say, male model quality looks. Most men, if you gave them everything on the external, they are still insecure as fuck from the inside out. They are insecure as fuck because internally, the guts of the man, they have an impoverished identity. Who they are, they don't think is naturally good enough. The problem with adding shit to the external is you never fix the internal. And you realize that your internal is moved, your internal is changed, because the guts of you, who you are from the inside out, your personality, has been influenced by the external world. Okay? From the way you dress, the way you do your hair, the way you walk, the way you talk, the way you operate, what you think is socially normal, everything, it's because of what you've seen. Well, how do you make up your reality? You make up your reality by what your eyes see and then what your ears hear. What you hear and what you see becomes your reality. Right now, since we live in such a digital world, it's not very common for men to approach women anymore. Oftentimes, guys are sitting there on their cell phone. They don't ever walk up to a woman and they say, hello. Well, okay, think about this for a second. If that guy would just watch one other guy go approach, if you watch one guy go, if you're sitting at a sports bar or you're sitting at a club or you're out on at the park and you watch a guy go approach a beautiful woman and introduce himself and ask her out. If that's the first time you've ever seen that happen, since it's not very normal anymore, once you see that, you go, maybe that is normal. Well, then if you see 2 guys do it, then it becomes more normal, and 3 guys and 4 guys, and pretty soon that becomes the reality. What I'm saying is the reality that you've seen from the day you were born until now has been constructed for you. So the goals that you think that you want to achieve, they're only important because of what your ears have heard and what your eyes have seen. Think about that for a second. Imagine that. What if you started from a clean slate and you took a pen and paper and you said, what do I actually want? How do I actually want to live? You're probably not confident or your true authentic self or what you want to be or how you want to sound, because you are living in a mental reality that has been put in front of you to get you to chase certain goals that you as an individual might not even find super important. Think about that for a second. Most guys, you could give them every single external, materialistic, status-driven metric to go and tell yourself, to give yourself all the proof that you made it now. And they're still on the inside nervous, or they're still on the inside anxiety. They're still on the inside can't let go. If the ability to not give a fuck, that is how a woman views an alpha male. And I'm telling you, you can do that in a normal everyday car, or you can do that in a Maserati. You can do that on a private plane, or you can do that flying a normal airline. There comes a point where you just have to let go, realize that who you are, you have value because God created you in the first place. You have value because you have balls between your legs and you're a man. So start fucking just acting like it. It's okay to go after what you want. So when you think about this at a deep level, when most guys are like, oh, I want all this muscle or I want abs, you actually don't want abs. You tell yourself you do. You tell yourself you're in the gym for you. But what you really want is confidence. What you really want is you think, oh, when I get my abs and my muscle, you're going to be like, oh, now I'll have the confidence to talk to Sally at the restaurant. Think how stupid that is. You're trying to build the external to fix the internal. I'm not saying disregard your goals. I'm not saying don't self-improve. I'm not saying don't build muscle. Look at me. I have a I have tons of muscle. Anyone who's seen me on my Instagram, I've worked out for 10 years. But you got to ask yourself why you're doing it. Okay? You got to ask yourself why you chase these things. Okay? Look at even me with my life. Look at the unconventional road that I chose. To sit here on this camera, to talk to you guys, to help you guys, right? To build kind of my mission and what I'm doing and how I want to communicate to the world. That took some level of guts because this isn't very common what I do. So right away when I started it, some people probably thought I was weird. But then when you keep building and you get fixed in your identity where you're like, okay, I am who I say I am. I know who I am. This is so needed. So you don't want muscle and you don't want abs. You actually just want confidence. Most of you don't want to go build a business. You tell yourself you want to build a business, but you don't. You want the excuse now to act like you get to feel good enough. Like, oh, now I can allow myself to feel good enough because I have $1 million in the bank. I'm going to tell you something. You will feel the same on the inside no matter where you're at in life. No matter where you're at. Doesn't matter. A woman wants to see you have that level of confidence where no matter where you're at, you're still a solid, stable rock. You know who you are, okay? Then you have a frame of value. Now, if the millionaire on the boat who's 6'5" sends a text message that says, baby, are you sad at me? Are you mad at me? He failed. He's not high value. If the guy who has six-pack abs is still on the inside shy and super hesitant when he talks to women, she's going to see this was all done on the external just because he doesn't feel good enough. If the let's say the guy who's 6'5" and has a Maserati and abs and a business, he when he's holding her hand, he holds that hand just a little too long. He goes in for one too many kisses. Interest test failed. He calls her one too many times. He starts initiating contact. He's no longer chasing his goals in life or how he wants to live for himself because you're an individual human too. He's now attached to this other person. Interest test failed. That guy who's the millionaire can go from a 10 out of 10 to a 3 out of 10 just like that overnight. And that's what I'm telling you. It's inside. This is what none of the other content creators get. Another thing too that a lot of the content creators don't understand is a man's ability to say no to evil. This is so big. If a woman sees, this guy makes a bunch of money and this guy has a bunch of muscle, but all he does is engage in lustful behavior, bounces from club to club to club to prove to himself he can talk to the next girl, constantly in this never-ending loop of alcohol or chasing the next thing or caught in lust, he's going to look like the weakest man ever. It's going to look like the women have so much power over him. Like these men who call themselves high-value males. I'm high value. Look at me with my followers and my podcast and my Instagram and my muscle. And it's like, dude, so what now you tell yourself that and what you can get girls now, or you tell yourself you can get girls? The women see right through that. They know that they still have all the power over those men, that those men are still living in the exact step-by-step playbook that they think that they need to attract a woman. And it's pathetic. Men don't live how they want to live. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Like, I get that I'm rambling, but this is super fucking important. You don't want to build a business. You want the excuse now to go out and act like you get to feel good, or you're now good enough. Self-qualification. So you could give every guy most of this and they would still feel like crap on the inside. So what's the best way to actually get her hooked? Well, not only do you have to be present in the moment so you can connect with the woman, okay, which means talk slower. If you guys are having a drink together, enjoy the drink. Maybe you compliment what she's wearing if you think it looks good. Maybe you're chill. You're enjoying the time with her, okay? Slow. Most guys are thinking about 3, 4, 5 steps down the road when hopefully they can sleep together or hopefully they can get the girl aroused enough. It's like, this is super fucking pathetic how men just literally put all of their identity and goals and fixation on how can we attract a girl. This is stupid, okay? The best way to actually get her, you got to understand this. When you have sex with a woman, it gives her the power. This is what guys don't understand. All these guys trying to become high value on paper to get more sex, the women see that what's between their legs has power over that man. Do you understand that if that's what you're playing for? Do you understand how weak you've actually became? Getting one thing is your end goal, and that's it. And this is this is not good. So the best way, how do you signal to hypergamy? How do you show that you're actually high value? You don't have sex with her, or you're not even worried about that. And when you're not worried about that and you can be present in the moment and just talk, she ends up wanting to have sex with you. She ends up wanting to seduce you. It's like, wow, I've actually met a guy who isn't trying to do all this weird shit and he's just completely confident and comfortable just being how he is. This is what women look for. This is the greatest signal to hypergamy, is if you can say no. Imagine what it does if you decline. If you say, no, I don't need that right now. We're not gonna, like, no. What does that do? Well, now you're abundant. You look abundant. Oh, he must get women throwing themselves at him all the time like this. It also looks super pre-selected in that moment. Okay, and you're present in that moment. You're with her. You're not trying to go to the next. You don't care about going to the next step. And also, you now come from a state of love and groundedness. Like, imagine how stoic you have to be to actually not just dive right into your lustful desires. Imagine how grounded you have to be to just enjoy the moment and where you're at in life. So when you wake up to this stuff, it's almost impossible it's almost impossible to see this video and have it not impact you. Because most guys, if you actually look at your goals of what you're chasing, you're probably chasing things that have no end point. You're probably chasing things of goals that the rest of the world tells you should be chasing. And that's not necessarily true. So a state of groundedness, okay? You're also stoic. You're not needy for sex. So when you do this, look at this. Now she finally feels safe with you. Now you're not overqualifying. Stop overqualifying. Stop trying to think if you build the external, which I do recommend, but you got to do it for you, okay? When you stop focusing so much on building the external, okay, and you find out also how to bring yourself internal peace, internal confidence, you're okay with who you are. And that means you're okay with everything. You're okay with how your voice sounds. You're okay with your hairline. You're okay with who you are, and you're happy because this is the only life you have. That right there, that is how, like, that's what I mean by when women say, oh, he's charismatic. Oh, he's so, like, there's just something different about him. I like him. That's how women fall in love. That's why I tell you, women fall in love through words. Women fall in love through personality. Women fall in love through expression. Like, this is why, like, women read fantasies and fairy tales and they get aroused by those kind of things, and they don't live in this, like, visual world like you do. They're also up in their head, but in a different way. It's the land of emotion. So when you can understand how to connect one-to-one, the masculine and the feminine comes together and you connect with her, that is how you get a woman attached. Okay? So I understand it's a bit of an unconventional video, but you guys need to hear this. Hit the like button, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.